Scottie McCLUE, and we are, of course, live on the big one, the internet phone-in, the one everyone's talking about, the one everyone is watching. 9 o'clock sharp, 1 hour of superb, scintillating information, education, and entertainment for every single one of you. Good evening, Scottie, Dinky-Doo, Drewski. How lovely to have you with us. A very good evening, and a big Dinky-Doo to you, of course. Marvellous stuff. Evening, Scottie. An evening, Dinky-Doo, Scottie McCLUE, Siren Sister. Yes, Siren Sister. I learned years ago it's not Sirenster. So there we are, Siren Sister. Lovely to have you with us, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Now then, lots to talk about tonight. Evening, Scottie, great to see you again. Chap 55, always good to see you again, and a very, very warm welcome. Who have we got here? Morgan, Dinky-Doo, lovely to have you with us, and a very warm welcome. You're live on Scottie's Phone-In. Who's that?
Oh, Michael, man, it's Martin.
Hello, Martin. Well done for getting on. Good for you. How are things?
How are you, Scottie? Good.
Great. Absolutely excellent, Martin. Lovely to hear you.
I had to take Emma to A&E tonight because she fell and hurt her chest.
No, is she all right?
She is. I'm okay, but she's gonna be bruised in the next couple of days.
We
because
saw.
she slipped on the steps of the flat.
Oh, was that what happened, Martin? She tripped?
Oh,
for goodness sake. Very worrying time for you both.
I know she has.
And she'd get a shock.
Yes.
Is she back home with you?
Huh?
Is she back home with you?
Yes, she is.
Right, and she's resting.
Hi, Scottie.
Aye, what have you been doing to yourself? Have you been in the wars?
Yes, she has.
She must be careful. You must look after her, Martin. See, she's strong and well.
I know.
Does she like hot chocolate?
Yes.
Wonderful. A hot chocolate.
So, how's your day been? Good?
Absolutely outstanding day today, Martin. Wonderful. And of course, lots of lovely new TikTok videos up for people and new YouTube videos.
Yes, lovely.
Yes, and we need everybody subscribing tonight. Very slow to subscribe. And we really are talking a top one. You're only showing on TikTok tonight. No, Kareem, we should be on YouTube. Are we on YouTube as well? Can you check, Martin? Are you watching YouTube?
Yes, I am.
And we're live there, are we?
Yes.
Good.
You are live on YouTube.
You can see me on YouTube looking the part.
Talking to me.
Talking directly to you.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So Scottie, what?
Hang on a minute. I'm just going to send a half-witted idiot called KI3R3 straight down the Swanee for being an idiot. Bye KI3R3. What a half-wit. Imagine having access to TikTok's top talk show and blowing it. There he's gone. Right, that's that. There we are. Fantastic. Good evening, Scottie, says Kelly. Lovely to have you with us, Kelly. Now then, Martin, what's happening?
I was out apart from taking Emma to A&E after my mum's and so on.
Right, what time did all this happen?
It happened at 9:30 this morning.
Oh my goodness me, first thing in the morning. And was it crowded at A&E or did you get a clear run?
We sat for an hour and a half until she was seen the second time. First time was only 5 minutes. Another time, an hour and a half.
That's pretty good though, Martin, I have to say, for this day and age.
So she needs a hot water bottle to keep herself better and
right.
Cozy after the heating on and that.
And is it just bruising?
Yes, it's just bruising on her ribs, but she'll have bruising on her chest as well.
We saw, right, there we are. Well, we send her love and blessings, and we send every strength to you.
Thank you.
Yes, and Dinky-Doo.
Dinky-Doo, Scottie, man.
Top man, and we'll catch up later.
Scottie, can you please tell me where to be before you go?
A wee bit of the weather.
Yes.
Well, as you've probably guessed, the weather a lot colder for the time of year now. Little bit of frost tomorrow, so make sure the mufflers are on, and if possible, a hat, of course, because so much of the warm air escapes through the top of our heads. That's your weather, Dinky-Doo.
And it's 29 days until Christmas time.
29. I saw it today. This is the 24th. In 1 month's time tonight, it's Christmas Eve.
No way, is it?
Yes, this is the 24th, and Christmas Eve's the 24th. And it's 9 o'clock. It's 6 minutes past 9. In another 3 hours, it's 1 month to Christmas Day.
Wow, and I've got 100 gifts under the tree now, Scottie. 100 gifts.
Wow, you are some man. I say to you, Dinky-Doo.
DINKY-DOO, love you.
Love you lots. Top man. Get strong and well, please. Emma, to the telephones, guys, as soon as possible. We have a lot to talk about and so little time to do it in. If you've been ringing and ringing, keep ringing and ringing. We'll get you all on, I tell you. You're live at Scottie's phone in. Who's that?
DINKY-DOO, Scottie. It's Kareem.
Oh, Kareem, well done. Absolutely. Martin just beat you tonight.
Oh, for whatever reason, I was late getting notifications on my phone. So, and when you come on, I try and get you on the big screen as well. So that's taken me time to load that all up.
I've just had, sorry, I have to go and get a pint or two, big celebration for us tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day in America.
Ah.
Now then, we love that, Kareem.
Yes, absolutely. When they all sit down and have a massive meal.
Yes, Thanksgiving Day. So there we are. So we can share Thanksgiving Day on YouTube. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, get subscribing right now. Don't hoo-ha or poo-poo or go, I'll do it later. Do it now. Subscribe and tap the bell. Kareem, is my subscribe button big enough on YouTube?
I think it's, if you can make it bigger, then I would go for it. But I think it's standard the same as anyone else's. You know?
Right, it's okay. You can see where to subscribe.
It's the red button, absolutely.
You're not sort of ratching about going, well, where do you subscribe?
It's right when you come up on the screen, it says subscribe in the bottom.
Right.
And people can just tick it.
Right, just tick that. So just do that, guys. Right, bottom right, is it?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, lovely. There's luxury cars. Do you remember luxury cars on TikTok saying hello to us?
Hello, luxury cars.
Absolutely. I think this gentleman maybe runs a big luxury car hiring.
Ah, right, okay.
Very nice. That was the one. I have to tell you this, Kareem. I was out visiting, and this guy ran a beautiful luxury car. Let's just say they were RRs. RRs, right? And he took me back, and he showed me all these beautiful vintage cars. And I said, do you ever worry at a wedding that you might break down? Expecting him to say, oh, not really. We do our best to have it, you know. And he went, oh, your heart's in your mouth all the time. These lovely, lovely old cars. But you see now, your big, beautiful, great big Rollsies, when we were kids, some of these cars are 50 years old now, you know.
Wow. Have you been in any modern ones before?
Yes. I'm not too, if I had a lot of money, I wouldn't go out and buy a modern luxury car. I would buy a slightly older one.
Right, okay.
You know, like I have two cars at the moment, and one's 30 this year, 30 in April, and the other's 21.
Wow, great ages.
And there, I don't really want, because I don't really care for the technology. I don't need a touch screen. I don't need all sorts of fancy electronics and stuff like that. So I like the car to start up and run. And I like to take it in for a service, and they go, yeah, we can change the oil and filter and just check everything else for you, Scottie.
Yeah.
They're not going, right, that'll be £1 million because we had to, you know, replace some electronics.
It's getting that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even with electric cars now.
So they say, well, we'll do the oil and filter, and we'll get that back to you. And I say, what do I owe you? And they say, that's £34.70, Scottie. And I think, oh, now you're talking.
A bargain.
Well, yes, because sometimes, I mean, I have had cars in the past that you're going to pick them up and they go, that will be £463.80. You think you have to start having a word with yourself and saying, well, I don't have a holiday this year booked, and I won't be doing this. And It should be all right. You know what I mean? You start trying to pass it off to yourself instead of saying, oh, no, absolutely not. Just keep the motor. Bye-bye.
I think, Scottie, the problem is finding an honest, decent mechanic.
Yes.
I think that's a problem out there.
A proper lad that says, no, there's nothing but wrong with you. Your car's absolutely fine. Not one that goes, well, this is an expensive repair. I don't know if you can afford it at the moment. It'll be about 600 quid, but you're needing such and such and such and such. And then you go to somebody else and you say, how's these parts? And go, absolutely fine.
Yeah. Well, that happened to me. I went on a comparison website, won't name the name, and I thought that's a good deal for brake pads. So I took it down to the garage, and naturally said, oh, you'll need new brake discs as well. That's the thing they say now. I said, well, no, I can't afford that. I want the brake discs. They said, we can't do that. I said, well, I'm not doing it then.
Aye.
I took it to my original garage because they actually managed to get me a booking and turned around and said, no, you don't need pads at all, and your discs are fine for the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what you need, just that kind of straight talking person, because they're not trying to screw you.
Yeah. And nobody would put up with that. If you were in a pub, Scottie, and someone's trying to do you out of money when you're buying drinks, you would go off your head.
Oh, absolutely. I actually had it. I remember an old boy down south, and I went up, I gave him a 20 quid note, and he gave us back a fiver or something for a couple of pints. I said, I think you'll find I've just given you a 20. I would open your till right now, just on the left-hand side there, and you'll see it. And he went, oh, sorry about that. I said, no, not at all.
Yeah.
But we drank up and left.
Aye. Well, if that was a garage, people accept it. Like, okay, well, I better pay the money and this and that. And there's a good one that I heard one mechanic say, well, I've had to adjust your lights, which they adjust automatically anyway.
Yeah.
And that's £5 each light. So that was it's just like these wee things like adding on money for nothing. Just
a lot of nonsense. No, you've got to keep an eye on things. I mean, I'm very, very fortunate. I've been using the same garage for 20 years.
And they know you and they trust you.
Absolutely. And they trust me and I trust them. And if it's genuinely a biggish bill, they say we'll have to overhaul this and that. So that's fine.
Yeah.
Well,
Scottie, I had a wee think today, because yesterday wasn't anything political, but I was reading earlier on, and I think at times now we really are, and I think we spoke about this before, that we live in a nation of absolute snowflakes.
Yeah.
There was a lady complaining to a budget retail company where she went in and had a look about, and there was Christmas jumpers out. And this time of the year, I bought my supermarket Christmas jumper.
Oh, well done.
To wear it for next week. But this woman complained and then went on this website where all mothers go on, I won't name the name, and went on to an absolute complaint session. And basically, she saw in the shop and complained it was a Christmas jumper of a melted snowman. Lovely red jumper, and it was a melted snowman saying, I'm having a meltdown. Right. And she found that deeply offensive.
See, I don't understand why, because people have little fun meltdowns all the time.
Yes.
I mean, how often has people said, oof, I think we'll leave it just now. The missus is going daft about such and such. Why? What happened? Oh, don't ask. So I mean, it's quite nice to make light of that sort of thing.
Yes.
And I'm a great believer. What I've done all my life, Kareem, is tried to lengthen my fuse so that I can cope with more and more dafties.
Yeah.
And I think, well, that actually doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You see, and I think that's very, very important to get these things absolutely right.
Yeah. I left a comment in the Facebook, and I said, if only these type of people would complain about the Tory corruption, poverty, etc., things would be done. But no, they pick the most silly things.
Why don't we have it that you have to pay to complain, apart from for public services? So public services, fair game. Yeah, because you're paying through your tax. But anything else, if you want to complain about the Christmas jumper, it's a tenner, miss. What? It's a tenner to complain. You can put your complaint in, but it's a tenner.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm no complaining. Right, okay.
Yes. No, that's it. Then it's
When
more
have you
cost.
met people? Do you not remember people say, I'm not actually complaining, but I wish you would do such and such about your such and such. You think you are complaining.
Yes.
And it's like these other people about, well, I'm not a racist, but I do feel that these people stop.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You think you are. That's the whole thing about it.
Yes. Yes. It's quite annoying, and I think at this time of the year with so much of the stuff that's going on, and to have a wee giggle, I thought that was quite funny.
I think that's brilliant. I'm having a meltdown.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely.
You know,
And the other thing you should be able to do, though, is actually, say to them, excuse me, stop complaining.
Yeah.
You're pulling the rest of us down. You're making humanity look ridiculous.
It goes back to my saying, Scottie, that I've been saying quite a lot. It's the minority ruining it for the majority.
Kareem, you've spoken many, many wise words in discussion on here, but you couldn't speak a wiser word. The majority must not be allowed. We should put it to the vote all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And you have to justify as well.
Right. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I just think there's too many people complaining, or it's the phrase, too many Karens, and I think I forgot what they call the gentleman. But that's like the joking way. Or there's another Karen complaining.
Too many of these people. Poor Karens, though. What a shame to pick that name. You know what I mean? I loved my grandfather's one, the one that's on TikTok. It's now just about to hit 35,000 hits. And it's just me sitting in the car saying, as my grandfather said, the McTacks and the McGees, the takers and the givers.
Oh, brilliant, Scottie.
35,000 of it, a 15-second video on TikTok.
Yeah.
Just amazing, absolutely. I couldn't believe it. I looked at it, as I say, when I'd put it up, and I thought, there's 2 people have looked at it already. Then when I got home, there was like 3,500. I thought, I can't believe it. Now it's 35,000.
And that's around the world.
Yes.
All around the world.
Yes. And it's very broad Scots, so they've done very well.
Yes, to understand. Yes.
Absolutely. Kareem, a joy hearing you, my dear fellow. And we shall put this out about complaining.
Tomorrow I'm thinking, I was going to ask some other things. I'm going to go.
No, don't. If you've got something else to ask, feel free.
Well, there was 2 things. There was one about, is the Prime Minister's time up? But the last one, which I'll probably look into a bit more tomorrow, is about what you'll know yourself just now in Scotland, is about education reform. Everything's going to be changing soon again, and are we changing it too much, too quick, too soon? But that's for another day.
Well, it is. It's very interesting, though, because what you should ask yourself is education nowadays what you signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Is education nowadays what you signed up for? And if there's recruitment challenges with teachers, why? You see what I mean? I think there's all that sort of thing. I mean, obviously, no names, no pack drill. We won't be mentioning anybody in particular. Won't be mentioning any place or anything or any schools or anything like that. But I think if you're looking at education as a whole, because yes, it will need to change to serve the new society. But education, the basic educational tools are conservative with a small c and are very similar to the way you and I were educated. So you can bring in new programs all the time, 5 to 14, curriculum for excellence, etc., etc. You can do all of that, but at the end of the day, is it doing its job? Are we turning out youngsters that are fit for purpose for all the vacancies that are sitting there in society?
Yeah. No, I get it.
It's that, and I mean, Scottish education has for hundreds of years been the envy of the world.
Yeah. Well, I regardless, I don't think there's any system in the world perfect. You know, I think you can have really good things, but there's always going to be things that you can change, you can make better, or you can tweak it up, you know, and I think that's the case.
Yes, but what you need is planning in all these big companies. I mean, I've worked in opera, I've worked in banking and finance, I've worked in television, I've worked in radio, I've worked in ships and boats, serious stuff. You know, very, very heavy, some quite responsible jobs where you had to actually, if you like, carry the can. You don't muck about with a boat at sea in a rough night, you know. So there's all these kind of things. So there's no cause for sort of levity in these things. And planning is actually the thing. There's a lovely saying: nobody plans to fail; they just fail to plan. And planning is everything. So if you're watching an opera one night, that's been planned for months or maybe years, because you need to. You're booking conductors, you're booking chorus, you're booking principal singers, you're booking venues, you're having to have a go at ticket pricing, you're looking at rehearsal time. All these are big things to get something to come together, so that when you go along to the theatre to see a performance of a big show, it doesn't just happen. It's happened because of all these wonderful people coming together and knowing what they're doing. Education doesn't just happen. It happens because of all these wonderful teachers and planners and managers coming together at the one time.
The one thing I would say, Scottie, before I go, and it's my own personal view, it's not everybody else's. If we're going to move forward and make changes again, at the moment there's too much emphasis on nurture, which nurture does play an important part, because we've got quite a lot of kids from bad backgrounds, and that's always going to be the case. And as much as they try to close the attainment gap, there's always going to be some type of gap. But the problem and the issue is this, which I bang my head off the wall at times: when you over nurture, then discipline goes out the window. And we're seeing that across all societies at the moment. When you see, now not all young people, because there are a lot of gifted and academic and really lovely children out there, regardless even if it's vocational or qualifications they get and they go out and get a trade. But there's a large percentage that, to me, do not like to be disciplined. They're getting over nurtured, and when they go into society, you are seeing the problem now from these young children, now young adults, because they've been nurtured, they've not been disciplined, and when they get into society, boom, they're not coping.
They think the world revolves around them, and suddenly it doesn't.
Correct.
And they think, I'll not go to university, and people can phone my mother, and you say, if you don't go to university, they don't care. They'll just throw you out. You know, they'll give somebody else your place, and that's it. You'll be bypassed. You'll be trampled by society. And I think that the important thing with any young person is getting them to understand consequential thinking. Now, whether you go about it by nurture, nature, discipline, boot camp, whatever way you go about it, you want to have a young person having a clear understanding of consequential thinking. If I do that, that will happen. And that has to happen.
And that's the problem, Scottie.
So if you said to a young person, see, if you don't pay attention or talk again, you're out of my class. And they go, hi, so I am. Talk again, don't pay attention, off they go. Along comes a colleague of yours and says, right, you're coming with me, bye. And after a couple of sessions of thinking, am I not going to be in the class then? They start to slowly think, no, I want to stay with my pals.
It's consistency is key. So many times you see people say one thing and then they completely do the opposite. And it sounds terrible. It's like training a dog. When you tell a dog to sit and then it's running away, and then because it's running away, then you clap it and give it treats. Now, obviously, that's not the same for kids, but then you see, like, I get out the class, and I'm not getting out of the class. Like, we'll sit over there. I'm not sitting over there. You know, you're setting yourself up for a fall. You know, and it's about consistency and doing.
Now, it's got to actually happen, I think. You say, sit over there, and the young person sits over there and realizes that that's what they have to do. You know, because you see, what's difficult to get across is, have you ever heard the expression, Kareem, you can't fight City Hall?
I've vaguely, I know what it means. So
now, you'll know exactly what I mean by it. And I've, you know, had, you know, very interesting times in my life because I've never fought City Hall. So you pick your battles. If the bank are unfair with you, fight the bank and get them to sort something. If the electricity company are unfair with you, fight them and get them to sort something. But when it comes to City Hall, the big bosses that says you must do this or this will happen, go with the flow. You know, go with the flow. You know, you can't fight City Hall. And I think that's what's going on. But City Hall need to be very, very clear. They don't need to be taking a U-turn every 5 minutes. I know we said this last week, but that's not what to do now.
Well, I'll give an example, and it was not any school that I've taught in, but there was a new head teacher a few years ago, and this is from other teachers that have told me this, started the school. Now, the original one, she ruled the high school with an iron fist.
Yes.
The kids didn't play up, and it was in a real rough area, and she ruled that school with an iron fist. This new head teacher came in, the kids are all playing up, and then she was saying things like, what have you done to upset the kids towards the teachers? So when you've got that, you're hitting your head off a brick wall.
Well, your problem there is you very quickly lose all your teachers, your good ones first. You know, because they can get other jobs quickly.
Yeah, and credibility as well in terms of strong leadership. But again, this is all the politics that a lot of the public don't get to see.
No, and probably it's a good thing because things have to be sorted out, things have to be run, and big systems like education, like health, all that, you know, they are a bit of a political minefield, but they can also be used as a political football, and that's the one to watch. I think we need to get the message across to politicians. By all means, wade into the political minefield. I would clear a few mines first and get yourself a path through, but never, ever, ever use it as a political football.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that will just end up in grief for the politician. And I've seen politicians do it. I've actually watched it. I've seen them go into education, and they were very, very close to losing their job almost immediately. Because it's a hot potato.
Yeah, they can't handle it.
No, it's a hot potato. It's huge because the worst outcome would be town and village centres filled with feral children.
Yes.
That's
absolutely.
when society has failed.
But there are feral kids, Scottie, in every society, and it's still to this day. You know,
yeah, but I would quite like a lot of Western children to see what happens in countries like India and Africa, where the children get themselves to school at 7 o'clock in the morning because they know if they do that, they'll get a hot meal. Then by 7:30, 8 o'clock, they're working academically in either their classrooms or the library. They're beautifully turned out with their uniforms, and their education is outstanding.
It's such an importance to them, you know.
And I think we need to get that value back in education. The most important thing is your education. Without it, you are nothing.
Yeah. Well, how do you make society better? You educate it.
You educate it. And that's what we've always done on here, Kareem. Scottie McCLUE on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, anything you name it. We inform, we educate, and hopefully we entertain.
Absolutely. Well, Scottie, listen, I'm going to say DINKY-DOO. and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Thank you for my call.
No, I'm glad you got that off your chest as well. Dinky-Doo.
Bye-bye.
That's our Kareem. Very interesting points of view there, guys. Now, how's the chat doing here? Hi, Scottie. How are you? Says Susan. Evening, Scottie, and everyone. Says P. Grant. Hello, Scottie. Says Jasper. Good evening, Scottie. Hi, Scottie, Susan, and the team. All right, Jerry. Hello, world. Says Nupty Heat. Oh, Martin. I hope Emma's all right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Scottie. Says Charlie. Kareem. Hello, Scottie. One and all. Thank you. It's cold. It's very cold. It's freezing. I have a throat infection, says Susan. Be careful, Susan. Don't get too close to your internet. Oh, Susan, there's a lot of it going around. I've got a bad cough, says Suzanne. Beachy. Look pretty close to the camera the night light. I can only see your eyes. Sorry, I'll sit away back and I'll change the graphics for you. There we are. Change the captions. And we'll put something a bit smaller in for you. How's that? Is that better? There you go. And you can then see that. Radio's not the same without our Scottie. Dinky-Doo, Scottie La. Lovely to have you all with us. Thank you, Daisy the Lion. Dinky-Doo, for all your presents. Sorry I haven't been on a while since Luxury Cars. Sitting there, Scottie. Dinky-Doo. Dinky-Doo to you. What car do you have? Very old one, Sean. There we are. Now, that tuck will just send you straight down the Swanee for wasting your time being an idiot. That's him gone. Guys, remember, if you come on here and you ever troll Scottie McClue, you're toast, lifetime ban immediately. Don't do it. Don't fall for that. I'm not being funny, but I'm just saying oversized snowmen do melt. Snowflake's a new term, which is brilliant. Too sensitive. Absolutely. Who's that? You're live on Scottie's phone in. Hello, you're live on Scottie's phone in. Who's that?
Hi, Scottie.
Hi, Emma. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad, just a bit sore on the chest.
A little bit sore. Take care, darling. Have you got something that you can rub on?
No, but Martin's going to do me a hot water bottle later before I go to bed.
Right, you take care. It will pass, but it's always a sensitive one. And you'll also have it as shock.
Yeah. How are you, Scottie?
Very well, Martin. Yes. Did you hear Kareem? He was outstanding tonight, as always.
Yes, he was outstanding. Have you heard of the series called Minder?
Minder. I love Minder. Arthur and Terry. That was George Cole and Dennis Waterman.
What about police inceptions and all that stuff?
Yeah, I'm not so keen on that, but Minder, I absolutely loved it. George Cole was brilliant. Do you remember George Cole in the St. Trinian's films?
Yes.
George Cole played in the St. Trinian's films, the very early ones, and he used to be friendly with Alistair Sim, who played Miss Fritton, the headmistress of the early St. Trinians.
Yes.
Alistair Sim, a lovely, lovely Scottish actor.
Do you remember Joe 90?
Yes, Joe 90, absolutely. Thunderbirds, Joe 90, Captain Scarlet and the Mistrins, Fireball XL5, Stingray. Star Trek as well. Yeah, I remember Star Trek, but these were all what you called, Star Trek wasn't, it was a different thing, but these were what you called super marionation. Marionette being puppet. Super marionation. Jerry Anderson, wonderful.
Emma said to me, it's 29 days until Christmas.
29 days, my goodness me. What to do, Martin? Look up Lord Grade. Lord Grade, Grade. And somebody once said, if Lou Grade was around today, Scottie McClue would never be off our television screens.
Wow.
Yeah, because Lord Grade understood true talent. And he was the one that ran ITC films, things like The Baron, Randlad Hopkett, Deceased, The Saint, The Champions. You know, that was all ITC films. And then also Lou Grade brought us Super Marionation, He hired Jerry Anderson to do Fireball XL5, Stingray, Captain Scarlet and the Mistrins, all these things. Joe 90, Thunderbirds. You see, I knew there was the big one, Thunderbirds. All these things, that was Lou Grade bringing that to his company and selling it to the rest of the ITV network. So we could watch it on Scottish television on a Sunday afternoon.
Nice.
Yeah, and then the other one he did was the Muppets.
Oh, aye. What about? Do you remember? Do you remember? It was that thing. Sesame Street.
Sesame Street. I used to introduce it.
Did you?
Yes,
Nice.
I would say now it's time to join Big Bird and all our other friends as we go down Sesame Street.
Do you wish to bring them all back?
Yes, I think it'd be super for television if anybody's absolutely big enough in their thinking to run a television company with these superb programs, they would clean up. But a lot of them just tend to want to just put on rubbish. Therefore, their companies don't really have big audiences.
Do you think as time went on, do you think TV is getting rubbish at the minute?
Yes, absolutely. I've gone through several channels watching, and there's nothing that you'd actually want to see for an intelligent human being. Nothing.
Yeah.
And I've actually said to a couple of companies, why don't you put me on live on a Friday night for 1 hour? I think it'd be huge. Yeah, so what you're looking at right now, I know I'm no oil painting, but you look at what we're doing right now. We add to that email, text, phone calls, interaction, letters. Do you see? A little bit of music maybe?
Cool.
So do you see how huge that could be for a television company? But when I put it to them, because it's different, their mind is conditioned and they go, I'd love to score a bit. I'd better say no. And you think, why would you better say no? Because it would guarantee your job for the next 10 years. And then the next thing you hear that manager's been sacked. They've gone, and you think, well, no wonder they've gone. Their figures were so poor. Yesterday, there was a company trumpeting their figures and talking about their flagship program and what it got in a week. I used to get that in half an hour.
Wow.
You know?
Yes. But do you remember the black and white telly?
Yes. Our first telly had only one channel, and it was called BBC Television. That was it.
Oh, I can actually remember that.
Yep, it used to be black and white, and it had a picture of a big transmission aerial and a circular thing that went BBC Television.
Did you remember on Channel 5 when you see the coloured lines down the middle, like down the channel, like before Channel 5 opened?
Well, that's what you call colour bars. That's for the company to check the colour.
Is it?
There you are now. You're getting your education here. I'm going to have to dash. Love you lots.
I'll phone back tomorrow.
I look forward to it. You take care of yourself. DINKY-DOO.
Love you, Scottie.
Love you, Martin. There we are. A bit of education there. Public services. What a joke. Council tax through the roof. Where's the money going, says A.J. the Bairn. My nephew says you can't call it snowman. It's a snow person. How do you know? There we are. You're live on Scotty's phone in. Who's that?
Hello, Scottie, mate. It's Pablo again.
Pablo, how lovely to hear from you and DINKY-DOO.
DINKY-DOO, Scottie.
How's the show tonight, Pablo? Is it okay?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, listen to a bit of Kareem. I was there at the start, but I had to take a phone call there and there, so I missed bits. But
you missed a bit. Never mind, you're here now, and that's what matters.
Exactly. I'm always there these days, Scottie. I'm either in the background or ready to phone up, either one.
Lovely to hear you. What's happening in your world in Salford?
Nothing much, mate. The nights are seeming to drag on now.
Well, it's getting cold, isn't it?
Sure is. I had the door open
And you lost all your heat.
No, I actually open, Scotty, when I do this nebulizer.
Oh, for your nebulizer, of course, to get the air in your lungs. Hey, what about the fresh air? Is that good, the cold air?
Do you know what? It's funny you say that, because me and my partner was going to this course at night, and she can't handle the nighttime air.
Yeah.
I'm not too bad, mate, but she suffers more with the breathing side, and I suffer with more of the infection. So I'm not too bad. I don't like when the wind's like a gust of wind.
I stuck my head out the door tonight, and it was like champagne. It was beautiful. It was cold, but it was so beautiful. I took a few lungfuls of that.
Yeah, it was nice this morning. It wasn't too bad, the weather.
Oh, lovely, absolutely gorgeous. But you have to be wrapped up for it, Pablo.
Oh, you do, especially with my chest. Scotty, when I was younger, I used to make silly mistakes. I'd do 100 miles an hour. I'd get out of the bath, a steaming hot bath, just get dressed and go out and catch colds and everything.
Yeah, you have to watch that. Have you always had a bit of a weak chest, Pablo?
Always, mate, always. Even from school, I was always getting infections, but I wasn't diagnosed till like 2011.
Right.
About 22, 23, but yeah, they took a bad pneumonia to get the ball rolling and just speaking to someone.
You're a very, very brave guy. Well done, Pablo.
Well, you have to be, mate, because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Well, absolutely, and my goodness, you're living proof of that, my dear man.
Well, Scotty, mate, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I shouldn't have been here at birth, because when I was looking through my medical records, I got them off the doctor. When I was born, I was about 3 years old. I was basically put in like a chamber, oxygen fed, intravenously fed food, had a collapsed lung, and I made it from a baby. So
wow.
My story's crazy when I look at it. I survived, I don't know if I can mention it here, but what's going on at the moment, pandemic, I survived that when I was on maximum oxygen you can give a person.
Wow.
I believe, Scotty, there's a saying, a cat has 9 lives.
Yeah.
When a person, Scotty, and what they've been through and what they've survived, I think a human has 20 lives.
Well, I think you have, and you've got a lot more in you to go. Wonderful.
Well, that's what my mum keeps saying. Everyone said, I knew you'd pull through. I knew you'd pull through.
I knew you'd pull through. Yeah, absolutely. Good for you, top man. Very, very proud of you.
Some people are just strong, and born strong.
Yeah, but you're strong in your mind, and that's very powerful.
That's very true. Scott, I wanted to ask you a few questions here, right?
Yes, go on, lad.
Are you thinking about extending this talk show longer than an hour?
Yes, once we build it up, we need to build it up and get it going. Do you know? And also, obviously, it's I don't make anything out of it, so it's very much voluntary. So we need to keep building and building and building. And then eventually somebody might want to sponsor something or advertise something, and away we go,
Well, that's it. The future's looking bright because you're getting some numbers now.
We're starting to get the numbers. We need everybody to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's the big one. And I don't understand why not, because I asked Kareem, is the subscribe button obvious? He went, yeah. Just at the bottom right there, just click subscribe. That's all they have to do.
You know what, Scott? No, I've got a channel there. You'll find people comment on it, like it, and not subscribe now. It's for many reasons. One, they might not even have a YouTube account, or they just browse through a video, that in particular video.
I suppose there is that. They might not have a YouTube account, but I think when somebody is willing to dedicate their time for nothing, for the people, for the greater good, I think the decent human being should say, well, I can click subscribe. That's no problem.
Shouldn't be, mate. But the amount of views on one of my YouTube channels, and I look at the subscribers going slower and slower. It's like, whoa, why is my video?
Mind you, having said that, I think that there's so much media out there. Apparently you would need to have 1,000 years to watch everything that's on YouTube now. Now, my YouTube, as far as I've been told, I'll have to check it. I must remember to check. But as far as I've been told, there's about 3,000 Scottie McCLUE videos there. And when I meet people, they say, Scottie, love your YouTube channel, man. but there's only 3,500 subscribers. Now, I used to get people like that appearing every minute.
Exactly. Well, that's how I found you back. It wasn't the radio show. I just typed your name as Scottie McCLUE on YouTube, and we was having a giggle just listening to the old ones.
Yeah, the old ones they're a brilliant laugh. I mean, these were incredible calls.
Yeah, they were, but that's where I wanted to play devil's advocate, you know, because you were saying, don't you think like a talk show, you know, should be big like TV and this and that, but the topics aren't there anymore, Scottie, what you could talk about, and everything's censored now.
That's your problem. But I still don't think that I should say, well, I won't have a talk show because everything's so sensitive. Do you see what I mean? You can't not have a talk show. You're better having a talk show and saying, look, we can't be very controversial because everybody complains. What you would maybe need to do is get people to actually sign something to say, I will never, ever, ever be offended by anything Scottie McCLUE says.
Well, that's it, Scottie. With the way we get easily offended now, you could get lawsuits on your case.
Well, no, what you want is something where you just can't be offended. You think, well, I can't be. I mean, you had a wonderful old comedian, and I was fortunate to meet him, called Bernard Manning.
Yeah.
Now, Bernard used to just say it exactly like it was. And he was never, ever short of going on people's talk shows. And everybody knew Bernard.
Yeah, but back then, I remember it was prime time. You'd watch either the news or watch something, and then you'd go on any radio station and you'd find a talk show, and it was you at the time, and another name is, I used to sort of like switch in between.
Yeah, I know the one will not say it, but I know exactly the one you mean. It was very good.
Yeah, and the stuff that people used to talk about was...
And we had massive audience figures.
Huge.
Because everybody listened to it. And then the companies thought, oh, we'd better not. We'll play it safe. We'll just put on recorded music from 20 years ago, and that's all we'll do.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Scottie, now. It seems to be the only talk shows on radio is to do with sport.
Well, that's because it's safe. You can talk about football, but they don't want you talking about this, that, and the next thing.
Yeah. Do you think it's something to do with, not propaganda or censorship, but do you think with what's going on in the world today, Scottie, with conspiracy theories, this and that, do you think that plays a part why there isn't it?
I think that the big platforms worry about people talking about conspiracy theories because the problem you've got with a conspiracy theory, you probably can't actually ever prove it, but you also can't actually ever disprove it. So if you said to me, do you believe in aliens? And I said to you, I've met an alien and actually had a conversation with them. There was 3 of them. And I met them in a garden in Salford.
You know about my life, Scottie.
And everybody would be going daft, going, I know what you mean. I think I've seen them, Scottie. I said, no, these are just Salfordians. These are not aliens. No, let me tell you about my actual aliens. But what you're describing, like, stays next door to it. I said, no, these are just Salford people. No, I'm telling you about these aliens, right? So I tell them about them, and then someone says, can you prove this? I said, well, I can't because they got in the spaceship and left, love. They left via Eccles. The last time I saw them was on a Saturday night at 11 o'clock in Eccles. And there's all sorts going on in Eccles, as you know, love. So if I gave them that, they're going to go, right, so you can't prove it. I go, yeah, but can you disprove it? Can you tell me I didn't see them? Because I've described them to you.
Yeah, I mean, the one about aliens, that's not too bad. Because you said to me, well, not to me, to everybody, that you was thinking one time bringing the psychic back, Scottie. Is that anything you're thinking about?
Well, the psychic was brilliant. And the psychic I had, as you know, was absolutely outstanding. And his stuff was amazing. And when you got people trying to poo-poo him and saying things like, No, no, I don't know. I don't know any Henry. Don't know any Henry at all not in our family. No, there's no Henry at all. I said, well, I think you'll find there is, love. I think you'll find there is. And it is very closely associated with your father. No, no, no. Oh, hang on a minute. Me Uncle Harry. That's it, love. Yeah, Harry, because he were Henry. There you. Oh no, me dad's brother.
Yeah, but Scotty, what do you think about psychics, or being honest? Because
Well, I mean, I know if they're coming on with it. I had one on one time, and the lights fused in the studio
really,
just as soon as he came on. They'd never ever done it before. I introduced him, and suddenly, bang.
I do believe there's people that are spiritually special, but I do believe that there's that guy. I don't know if you know him, Darren Brown, I think his name.
Yeah, I've heard the name. Yeah, we'll not go into specifics and we're not going to names, but
No,
you know, you had these people, and I remember having a psychic in the show, and I took him to see something. I said, I find it fascinating. It was a mausoleum in Scotland, and it was 9 o'clock at night because we'd had a meal. I said, I'll take you to see this. I said, I wouldn't worry because I don't find it scary or anything. And he went, oh, I find it very scary, Scottie. I said, how? I said, I don't. He went, no, you can't see what I can see right now. I said, what can you see? He went, a lot of very unhappy people weeping. I thought, oh my goodness.
yeah, that's the one you said. How can you disprove it? But what this show sort of done was, you basically say a lot of them do cold calling, Scotty, where they'll just be fishing, and then they'll land on something.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still very, very clever. I've seen these people do absolute wonders. And I mean, I've not been pro them. I've actually, you know, argy-bargied and fought them.
I believe there's some that do play on it, Scotty, and the ones that I thought I dislike is the ones that keep charging people to give information about.
Yeah, but I know one that actually had a very wealthy man came in once. He gave him a beautiful reading, and the guy put down 50p. He said, I'd like you to have this. The guy's mother ran after the bloke as he was getting into his top of the range luxury car. He went, you have this, love. You need it a lot more than we do. Gave him his 50p back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's genuine people out there, Scotty, but I do think
But the ones I've had on have always been, I would have said, as genuine as you come.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Pablo, I'm going to have to dash you. We'll talk ourselves right out of time, la.
All right, then, Scotty. See you in a bit, mate.
Love you lots. Take care of you. Top man. Said I now. There we are. That's our Pablo from Salford. Fantastic. Now, AJ says only dead fish go with the flow. There we are. Now, Martin, you're a troll, so you can go down the Swanee right away. There's Martin gone, being a halfway. That's not our Martin. Kareem, I'm trying to listen to him. Well, we can hear him. Only way to get Wayne's up at that time is to play the Xbox. I have an Xbox 6. I've got 6 eggs in the one box. You must have to shave at least. Oh, yes, I have to shave at least. Fantastic stuff. What happened to Father Andy and Sheila on the radio? I don't know, AJ the Bear. I haven't heard of them for some time. It's not a problem because it's snowflakes. What are you talking about? I've just joined. What's going on? Lots psychics. There you are. Attack of the unsinkable rubber ducks. Your favorite Italian meal, Scotty? I think it's got to be a proper pizza. Proper pizza. What about that, guys? I tell you. Right. You look pretty close to the camera the night, La. I can only see your eyes. It's beachy, beachy. I've been decorating for Christmas, Jerry. I'm knackered. I'll see you. You're still in Edinburgh. I'm home from Edinburgh, says Jerry. To the phones, guys. If you've just come off the telephones, try it now. You should be able to get through. Hi, Susan. Hi, Dee. They're all chatting to each other. Hello, Dee. Hi, Susan. Hi, Dee. Hi, Dee. Hi, Dee. Hi, Dee. Hi, Dee. Dee, you were outstanding the other night. I've actually uploaded your calls. Absolute rubbish TV. I don't even have it on, says the son. Ooh, matron. I like the Carry On films. Yes, Babs and Kenneth Williams. My favourite's Carry On Camping. Yes, she's so missed. Right, see what we've got here. That's them talking stuff. There's the wonderful Murray O'Donnell. Says, hello, Scottie. Hello, Murray. How lovely to hear from you, and thank you. And Murray, thank you for all your wonderful generosity over the piece. 1,800 likes tonight on the TikTok, guys. How good is that? We've only got 4 minutes left. I don't know where the time goes on here. I really don't. Incredible. So there we go. Now then, I did leave a message thanking you, Scottie. Ah, right, Dee. Thank you. I'll look out for that. But I hope you enjoyed them because they are quality calls, especially the football one. I think you'll find that one goes far and wide. There we are. Lovely to have you with us, guys. And DINKY-DOO, thank you very much. Now, what have we got? Favourite cheese? Got to be a Stilton, I would say. The Stilton cheese is my favourite cheese. There we go. Now, who else have we got here? There's Woof. Woof, DINKY-DOO from Scottie McCLUE. Good to have you with us. Hello, Scottie. Hello, Murray. Always good to have you with us, and welcome, I say. What an amazing show tonight, guys. Do you believe in psychics? We need to look into this a bit more, I think, on the internet phone in. You do a good Kenneth Williams. No. No, matron. You must follow me as soon as you can. There we are. Follow us as soon as you can, guys. You're live on Scottie. Who's that?
Scottie, it's Murray. How you doing?
Murray, DINKY-DOO. Lovely to hear from you.
And you too.
What's happening in the real world?
Well, I've just logged on YouTube, and you were still on, so I thought I'd give you a quick call before you finished up for the night.
Absolutely, Murray. Very much appreciated. Murray, I know this is a bit personal, but have you subscribed to the YouTube?
Oh, one of your first subscribers.
One of my first ones. Excellent. And I know you've been extremely generous to the internet phone-in, and my thanks to you for that.
Cheers.
Tell 10 to tell 10. Murray, I think we'll get there.
Of course you will.
And I say things like it won't happen overnight, but it actually might.
Quality will out, Scottie.
Well, it needs one person who's got access to serious social media figures to say, have you heard this guy? And we're away.
Some marketing help might help you, Scottie.
Yes, it would, but obviously things are a wee bit tight at the moment with the marketing budget, but it doesn't take very much. I did one on TikTok and it was just a few quid and it was very, very successful.
Every one of your 1,100 odd likes tonight, put a fiver in, that would help the marketing.
Absolutely, I see that. Jerry Nicholas coming out with the fun here. You'll never have heard this one before. You can't hurry a Murray.
No, too good to hurry.
Do you remember them? That was a great advert, mind you.
They're still available, the old Murray mints.
Wonderful. They were great. Used to have them in the car in the glove box.
I'm a cinnamon ball fan myself.
Cinnamon ball, outstanding. I haven't had them for years. The only trouble is you had to have them within the first few days or they stuck together.
You had to get the wee toffee hammer out to separate them.
I loved the cinnamon balls, Murray. They were absolutely amazing. Well, there's a cracking wee TikTok and YouTube. You'll see it. It's all about the football.
Yes, I saw the Celtic Rangers thing.
Yes, and I think that's true. I think people need to take cognizance of that.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, I'll have to dash with the TikTokers. I've just realised we're out of time, Murray.
Well, I'll maybe give you a tinkle tomorrow, Scottie.
Do please, because we'd love it. There's a guy just said, word of mouth is the best advert.
Absolutely. Listen, everyone that watches the famous Scottie McCLUE show should be telling 10 to tell 10 to tell 10.
Tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10. Nice, says Jerry. Scottie, cheers to Murray. Isn't that a beautiful way to finish up? We'll say good night and God bless, and we'll catch up soon, Murray.
Night all.
Night, everybody. You sound like George Dixon there from Dixon of Dock Green. Dinky-Doo. Thanks.